Oh yeah, welcome everybody to the first stream from the NFT playbook. My name is Chana, aka Techno Dad, and we've got FOMO, we've got Be the Investor,
Be the investor.
and we've got our special guest Chris from CryptoHoots.
Hello.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going, Chris?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about you guys? I'm super pumped to be here.
Awesome.
Nice. We're excited to talk to you. Yeah. I got some water, and then my wife's like, "Hey, take this pink champagne with you." And I'm like, "Okay."
Nice. That's a nice hookup.
Yeah. She's like, "I don't want it anymore." I'm like, thanks, babe. Okay, so quick backstory. I don't know if you know Chris, but I think I might have mentioned it to you that I was looking at in getting into NFTs, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got to be on Twitter and then the Discord." So I joined the CryptoHoots Discord. That was the first Discord I joined. Like, I literally made an account because I've never joined any Discord, period. I'm like, what is a Discord? I had to like learn all that. And then, joined a few others and talked to you and the artist, RPL Grime. He even made, Brandon and Q. I didn't tell you guys this. Like, I tried to get, I was trying to do an NFT and of my dog. So the artist for CryptoHoots made a pixelated version of Fancy, and
it was real nice too. Yeah. You came in well before we launched. We didn't have a ton of members, so it was great to chat with you because we really do like talking to people when they come by, and it was a lot calmer back then.
Yeah, and I remember, we were talking about promoting on my YouTube channel, and this was like mid-August. And so I kind of like, did my thing, and I was waiting and joined some other NFT projects, and I started promoting some other projects on my channel. And I went back to be like, oh, hey, what about CryptoHoots? Let me go back to see if they need promotion. And it turned out their project dropped, and this was 10 days later. And I go to their, OpenSea, and the floor is at 2.6 Ethereum. And I'm like, oh, no, I totally missed it. I totally missed out. And
you were there.
I know, I was there. I didn't check back in. That was my biggest mistake. I didn't check back in. And man, I even told my wife about it, and she's like, you can't think of it. She's like, you got to move on. You can't dwell on this.
Yeah, we sold for like 0.03 on mint as well, but I didn't even get to mint any because they sold out so quickly. By the time I announced it on Twitter and then came back to actually mint a few Hoots, they were just gone, and I was surprised as anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I've noticed. So I've been involved with a few drops, and they're actually pretty difficult. Like public sales, like to just get one. Like, I'll be like, okay, I click mint, and then I go, my metamask pops up, and then gas fees are like $2,000. I'm like, whoa. I have to reject that and then just wait, and then all of a sudden they're all gone. And it's pretty crazy.
So how does this all happen? How does it go that? How do you get that popular that fast? Can you explain kind of like how the process went for you guys?
Yeah, I can. Some of it's still a mystery to me. But about 2.5 months ago, me and two friends from another Discord, an Ethereum staking Discord called Rocket Pool, we're talking NFTs, and I've always liked owls, and I said, like, we should make an owl NFT. Like, I think we have the talent here between the art and, the code. And like, someone who I hadn't interacted with that much was like, oh, I like this idea. Like, we should make them steampunk. And basically within 15 minutes, it was myself, RPL Grime, and Silence Do Good, who's our developer, chatting in just a private chat. And we just started working on it immediately. And from there, we kind of like iterated on the designs and like came up with the idea of like CryptoHoots itself, the name, kind of like our little internal lore for these little creatures, and really got to work. And I think overall, the part that is most mysterious and most difficult for me to understand, or for any project to understand, is like, how do you market something like this? Like, how do you stand out in a sea of other NFTs? And sometimes that's being noticed by like the right people ahead of time. Sometimes that's aggressive marketing. I think nowadays the thing that really stands out for a lot of projects is something that people refer to as like utility. Like we don't just want an NFT, like we want an NFT that does something.
It does something, and
Yeah.
it's not just sitting there in your wallet, in your digital wallet, right?
Right. And there's like fine art NFTs that people love, and it doesn't have to do something, but that's definitely one of the narratives that's very popular right now in NFT space. And as we were designing these Hoots, we realized that it would be quite difficult to actually create like all of the different asset combinations that we wanted with some of the existing tools. So our developers started building one from the ground up that was kind of maybe more user-friendly for myself and RPO Grime to do. So we could look at Hoots, prototype them, basically create combos that worked, blacklist combos that didn't, and then create the rules that ended up eventually generating Hoots when they were purchased. Because there's kind of two different ideas or two different styles of minting an NFT. Sometimes a project will pre-generate all of the art, let's say 10,000 different pieces. If they're not individual one-of-ones, they'll use some kind of software to do that. And they'll all be ready. And then when people mint, which specific one they get is the thing that's random. Whereas we went with a slightly different direction of when someone purchases a Hoot, our code basically generates it on the fly, and they get something that we don't even know what they're going to get. And so as we started making this program, we kind of came to the realization about halfway through that, hey, other people might want to use this too. We think that it'll make kind of generative art more accessible. And so we started actually tying that in as our primary utility, which was if you have a Hoot, you get free access to the software we built to make Hoots. And we know it works because we used it. And we're releasing, I think, a demo tonight. We should be. And so that, like, I think that's the core utility and one of the reasons that we somehow started getting quite popular.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, is it 2 weeks to the day you guys actually dropped?
Yep, it's been exactly 2 weeks. That's right, and it's been a whirlwind.
Like Dr. Doofus says he likes the ones with the huge pupils.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely have some goofy ones, and like I'm super impressed with the floor price that's gone up and down a bit. It's definitely a dynamic market, but there's so much variety in the Hoots. I think there was like over 1 billion possible Hoots that could be generated, and so like pretty much none of the Hoots that people own we ever saw when we were doing our little testing and our pre-generation, which is really fun to see these things in the wild.
So when you so how many traits did they have when you said possibilities? Like, does that like the amount of traits, like the background?
Yeah.
Is it even like the tree stump they're standing
Correct.
on?
So you had like the stump or the twig or the branch as we call it. You had the background, you had the species, you had the wing style, so either closed or open winged, and of course like all of the different little accessories like hat, glasses, shirt, shoes. It's a number of traits, and we went maybe a little overboard with our assets. We didn't even end up using all of them, but especially for a series that is so small. Like a lot of projects are 10K or 5K, and we went with
you're 2,500.
Yeah.
Right. So do you think that actually helped in like your floor price or like what the volume traded is at right now? Or
yeah, I really do. I think that that's kind of some of the feedback we got from our community after we launched and after demand grew, is that the small kind of limited series is appealing to people that want to kind of collect something, but also be part of something like I would say maybe more intimate. And one of the things I'm really proud of is like our floor price is great compared to our mint, but like we have 911 holders on a 2,500 edition project. So that tells me there's a lot of people out there with like 1 or 2 Hoots, and that's like a nice community.
Now, a lot of the times, I hear about, when you're looking for an NFT project, you need to make sure they have a good community. Like, what does that mean? Like, I hear it all the time. I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's tough. And I think it's one of the things we did well, actually, almost accidentally. But I think one of the key things is like the community culture, which kind of develops, I think, from the team out. And so I think warning signs for me are like when you go into a community and all they're talking about is the price, like the floor price, or like calling people paper hands for selling, telling everyone to delist. Like, of course, you're going to see some comments like that in good fun. But if that's like the core of the community culture, like I think it's a bad indicator, because realistically, like of course everyone wants the price to only go up, you know,
Right.
but that won't happen. And sometimes people have to sell things for one reason or another, and like shaming someone for listing something they purchased for sale isn't helpful to anyone. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Let's be honest. Like, you know, if I'd got like I've been trying to get 2 NFTs from each project that, you know, I'm, you know, doing promotion for, so I can hold one and sell one, right? That's so if I had one, if I had the 2 that I was thinking about and I saw a floor price of 2 Ethereum, I would have been like, boom,
yeah,
one of them's gone and one of them's held. You know, that's my strategy.
And that's totally okay. And like essentially, if no one was selling, then no one else could buy, right? And so we couldn't have new community members join. And so I think that's like almost a toxic culture that can spin up sometimes. I also think that like dev interaction can be lacking on some projects. So like one of the things that you saw was that when someone joins our Discord, I almost always try and greet someone directly if I can. I'll like directly try and answer questions.
You guys were so nice. I was asking all kinds of noob questions, right? Because it was my first Discord server, and I'm like, well, man, these things are kind of expensive. And at the time, I had I just started getting into crypto, right? I'm investing like, oh, by the way, just a disclaimer, none of this is investing advice. We are not financial advisors. This is all entertainment. And I mean, we were gonna call this stream like Chana's $20,000 mistake, you know. But
definitely not advice.
Yeah. Do not take any advice from me. So I had like a crypto portfolio of about like 3,000 ish. It got up to like 7,000. Then once I started getting to NFTs, I just started moving all this Ethereum over to MetaMask and started buying all this stuff. I was just like, oh, this is so much fun because I don't know about you guys, Brandon, Q, Chris. Like, I actually like to collect stuff. Like, I always had like a card collection of some sort, whether it was magic cards or like, back, all this weird nerdy stuff from when I was like in junior high. I'm like, oh, I can do this as an adult again. Wow. Like that was the thing. Like, and I minted some projects. I'm like, I minted like 2 or 3 and the, price was like 0.08 Ethereum, which wasn't cheap. I mean, that's like close to like $400 or $500 a piece. And I was just like, oh, well, when you talk about randomly generated, I'm like, oh, I want to get one that's got, I saw some other people's. I'm like, oh, you got one with a little mushroom in it. Oh, I want one of those, and I minted it again. I'm like, crap, I didn't get one, so then I'm looking at my OpenSea. I got like 10 of these things. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with all these?
It's dangerous. It can
is.
Be dangerous. And like, I refer to that almost as the loot box mechanic too. Like the slight addition of randomness makes people want to hope for the good ones. Like it lets your imagination run wild that you're going to definitely get the golden skeleton Hoot and not the plain naked Hoot. And I'll say all of the Hoots I own are the floor Hoots because I got shut out and I made it a point to only purchase Hoots that people listed at the floor. So I have like a little flock of the most basic, unloved Hoots there are. And so all of them are great, but like that simple thing of randomization makes it compelling to collect, I think.
I have a question for you, Chris. So as an organizer of CryptoHoots, like a founder, how was it that you were locked out of your own NFT launch? I'm a bit confused, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that we set out to do when we created the project was to make it about as fair as we possibly could, in the sense that the founders reserved no Hoots for mint. We didn't know what Hoots would be generated because we did that dynamically. We even used something called Chainlink VRF to get a verifiably random number to base our randomization on. And essentially the core of our project was this fairness. So by not reserving any, it left the chance of us getting shut out as non-zero. I think we didn't expect the demand that we got. Like I certainly didn't expect to sell out in 2 minutes. I thought that we would have a bit of time to pick up a few.
Now you mentioned some of the Hoots are rare or in high demand. Because it's generated randomly, do you have a guess what will be in high demand? You know what I'm saying? Because that being the case, did you purposely make it rare? How do you create the rareness? Because a lot of people, that's what they want, is that rare item.
So that's where our software shufflement really came into play. So it lets you create these combinations and weight them down. And I think the key too to NFT rarity, if you can do it, is make it look rare and not just be rare. Like there's some things that ended up rare just because of randomization. But for example, we wouldn't want 1,000 skeleton Hoots in the series. Like we want those to be unique because they're visually striking.
Sure.
And so we weighted them down to the degree where, you know, there was only a handful, and then added gold skeleton Hoots to be even more rare. And it'll never be perfect, but you want to make sure your weights are set up in a way so that A, you don't end up with none if you make it too rare, and B,
Right.
you don't have too many. And I think that's like our tooling actually allows that to be like pretty easy to accomplish.
What does
Very
this
cool.
mean, Techno Dad? Is there going to be support for using Shufflement?
There's going to be limited support from us directly, as well as community support. So like really our goal is going to be trying to foster other projects like this. Like I've said this before, it sounds cheesy, but like the thing I'm most excited about is seeing another project use Shufflement and be successful. Like I really want to see that. And so when people have a Hoot and they get access to our software, we're not taking anything on the back end. We're not taking their profits. Like what we will offer is like a community of hopefully other like-minded creators that can help support them, as well as direct contact with us. Like we might not be able to hold everyone's hand throughout the full process, but we will be there to support people along the way.
Very cool. So you know, for those that are watching that are new, you know, I see a lot of different lingo in these discords. So you mentioned one before, and that was paper hands. So can you tell us what the difference is between paper hands and diamond hands?
Okay, so what they refer to as paper hands is someone that sells prematurely, or you know, even worse, loses money on a sale. Like you buy something for 1 ETH and you sell it for 0.08, or that you sell it very quickly. They call that paper hands. It's kind of a derogatory term to someone trading against what the community thinks they should be. And diamond hands is the people that really support a project. So that even if they buy and it goes down a bit in price, they believe in your vision and they hold. And I will say we have a lot of diamond hands in our community who are basically giving us the opportunity to prove how great Shufflement is, like how good our follow-up stuff is, our tokenization. You know, they're some of our biggest champions, and it's important to have.
So the objective for you as a NFT organizer, founder, what would you guys be called? Promoter?
I would say a founder. We have 3 founders.
Okay.
I mean,
so
it's also referred to as the team, right?
Yeah,
team.
yeah, the team.
The goal, the long-term goal is for people to hold on to it.
Right.
Because when you say diamond hands, but is there a duration that's ideal? For example, okay, please hold on to it for at least 18 months, 24 months, forever. How do you envision that holding on happening to be truly diamond hands?
Right. I think the only way that happens is if you give people a reason to hold and not just pleasantly ask them to. And so that's like where utility comes in. Like obviously our creator software is great, but not everyone is a creator. The things that we're introducing after that, like breeding of our NFTs for baby Hoots, is something that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. And because of the way we created our Hoots with like on-chain DNA, those traits can be inherited to the babies to a degree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're working on that. And I think that people see this as a way to produce more NFTs for themselves to trade or whatnot. So in essence, like the core 2,500 Hoots are like these status symbols that produce the rest of the series. And then further down the line, we're hoping to take it into like Sandbox in the metaverse, where we can make like 3D voxel Hoots is what I really want to see. Because I think that like as a character, it's a very unique one, and I think it would do well in 3D space. And so by tying everything that comes next back to the people that supported you in the beginning, I think you give them an incentive to hold. I think that's the only way to do it. Like the other option is, right, the price infinitely continues going up and people don't want to sell because they think that, you know, the price will keep rising, but that's never realistic.
All right. I thought I saw, did you now a lot of NFT projects are talking about being able to carry over your NFT into the metaverse. For those that don't know, the metaverse is, just think Ready Player One, right? Right. Everybody's in this one virtual place. I'm actually part of Degenerates, which is like this electronic music kind of thing. And they actually had an event that was free if you had one of their NFTs in the metaverse with all these big name DJs streaming into their virtual club. It was crazy. It was like a 24-hour thing. Awesome, man. Just like amazing. Anyway, so that's what the metaverse is. So people are doing that. Projects are also making it so that your NFT can be used in a game, and some are bringing on like passive income models. Are you guys doing something like that? And if you were thinking about that, like in the span of like, like when I joined up in your Discord from like mid-August, did you have plans at that time for that? Or is that something that kind of just grew as you guys kind of figured out what you wanted to do?
I'd say a lot developed in the past 2 weeks based on community feedback. We did have metaverse plans, but now they seem much more attainable because I do think that moving NFTs into a 3D space is it's going to be huge. And I think that especially with a limited series of NFTs, like there's a sense of identity that you can have by owning one, whatever that series is, and being able to kind of further personify that in like a 3D like sandbox would really add value to people who love their Hoots. And we have a lot of people like that. When it comes to things like passive income, like that is a very dangerous word for NFTs. You don't, and I think that any that are promising that are likely to be in some trouble. A lot are, doing token, like creating some kind of utility token.
Like an ERC 20?
Yeah, 20, right. Yeah. And, that's like one of the mechanics we have for our breeding. And it's just more of a way to kind of gate breeding for time. Essentially, if your Hoot owns 10 tokens a day, and you need 600 to breed, that's 60 days per Hoot to produce a baby. So you can't, you just can't flood the market with baby Hoots, which we don't want. We want a nice steady supply. But, you hear people talk about this kind of passive income stuff, and it's like you're now running into what is a security. And that's like very bad for any kind of NFT or token product.
Right. I believe I saw like OpenSea, which is one of the biggest marketplaces for NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. I believe they might also, you can buy some on Cardano there as well, right?
Yep.
They removed 2 NFT projects because it seemed like it was a violation of terms of service, but it was because they were trying to offer some sort of passive income model. So that's kind of like a tricky thing. So would you advise people to kind of stay away from that in a sense?
I would advise people to be very cautious. So like one of the things we're doing is in an unofficial capacity, one of our community members is a securities and compliance lawyer. And so we've basically just been bouncing our plans for how we create these tokens and what they are and what they can do off of him. Once again, he's not representing us in a professional capacity, just to ensure that we are really on the up and up, because it's a great mechanic and it's easy enough to implement correctly, but like a few missteps could really cost a project they're listing on OpenSea. And I know, for example, one of the projects that got delisted, they were doing direct revenue sharing of their OpenSea's royalties back to holders, which from like a utility standpoint, like that sounds great. Like who doesn't want to do that? You reward the community. But from a legality standpoint, like we can't do that.
And go ahead.
I just want to jump in real quick, because you are wanting to do this right. A lot of newbies, they don't know what red flags to look for, but as a person who is, creating these NFT projects and having people in the know that's warning you, don't do this or that. If you were to say to the newbie, what red flags should they stay away from? Like what you're not doing specifically because you don't want to get in trouble. What are people doing that, hey, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. Is there anything specific that you're being told never to do at this point?
Yeah, I would say like really you can never really tie your NFT or your token to any kind of income source. You should never really claim that it would ever produce income. And like if you see development teams saying that, even if they are overseas where these US based rules don't apply, you do run the risk of a company like OpenSea, which is, a US company, delisting that product. Because to them, having an NFT that does something like revenue sharing is putting them in hot water, because it's like they're selling a security now, which they can't do.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happening. And in fact, I only brought that up because I watched an NFT video on YouTube that talked about it that was uploaded like 2 hours ago. So this is all like hot off the press, and
so is the current conclusion then passive income that is revenue sharing to a certain degree?
Correct.
So in the US, we should definitely keep an eye on that, because it could be shut down at any time if OpenSea finds out, and if you take the risk of going to out of the US marketplace, let's say that's unregulated, now there's a lot of risk. This is so new. Like, where do you see this going? Because so many people are rushing in and there's so much money to be made or lost. What are you guys doing to kind of keep yourself above board? It's just what's happening.
Essentially, we have to accept that kind of these ideas that are technically possible and seem kind of awesome are not allowed by current US regulations, for good reason a lot of time, right? Like, unregulated securities are bad. People can lose a lot of money. And like, even if our intentions are good, if our implementation is wrong, like, that crosses a line, which is why we would, never do that. But it is the Wild West out there in crypto, and anyone can develop a project and market it however they see fit. They might not be aware of these laws because there's a lot of gray area, even to people that are, in the legal field. It takes time. They might not care. They might be somewhere else. And the biggest risk, I think, at this point is that OpenSea is kind of this like centralized place for NFT trading. And I think for a project that, if you value the value of the project in Ethereum and it gets pulled, then it will be harder to sell. And so if you've invested money in this expecting some kind of income, and all of a sudden OpenSea delists it, it still exists. It's still like they could make a website somewhere else, but its value would probably plummet, as I would expect. And it's just anyone making these promises. It's a very dangerous ground to be on.
Can we go talk about the value? Because I know you wanted to create utility value. Can you talk more about that? Because I find that very interesting. A lot of these projects, its only value is what you're willing to pay for it, or its rarity. So apart from that, talk about how you're giving utility value to your projects.
Sure. Like, of course, the base value is the art and the rarity. Everyone trades on that. I think the thing that we really wanted to add was like essentially software to create your own generative series. Like, that is value. A lot of times you hear about value and utility in the NFT space, and that just simply refers to a token, which, as we've discussed, can be dangerous. But like, for us, we're developing an actual like commercial project that is given to anyone with the Hoot. And like, our thought was, we have 2,500 Hoots. Like, I bet there are 2,500 artists out there that might not have the technical skills to handle the code, to do a lot of this stuff, but they have the art and they want to make a project. And so if we kind of reduce the friction there, like, how many more projects will get made? And I think, at least to me personally, that's our value, as like almost a little incubator. And we're looking to partner with like other artists that might need more hands-on, like as kind of a step above just having a Hoot. But like, if we've been talking to other teams and communities and potentially doing partnerships down the line. And I think that that's a lot of value too, now that we have this platform of our launch and our fans being able to foster another artist or another community seems great.
Okay, so that's interesting to me now, because now you're helping others create something. And of course, the number one question is, does it have to be this pixelated art? I have a vision. Can you help me with this? I'm an artist, let's say. I have a vision. Can you adapt this software to help me create that dynamic art that you're generating, but maybe a little higher resolution? What's your roadmap and project plans for that?
That's a great question, and one of the most common ones we get. So our software doesn't care about what type of art you have. It just comes down to you designing the characters that you want in the style that you want. And it's only 3D or only 2D for now, even though you can render it, but as long as it's a 2D image. And essentially, as long as you design it in a way where you have like let's say a head and like head accessories and a body. It can be any art style you want or any creature or character. We used it for Hoots in our pixel art style, but you can use it for anything in your style. And that's something with our demo that we're actually hoping to get out there, because we included like a sample set of poorly drawn cartoon looking characters that are not pixelated but vector art, just so that people can get a feel that, oh, it's not just for owls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, for those who want to jump in and start their art now, they can't wait. They're going to get off the live stream and go. What does it cost? How do they join? Do they have to buy a CryptoHoot? How many? Tell us the
They just have to have one Hoot. That's it.
One Hoot.
And we hope that once breeding is introduced and we get baby Hoots, that we can also gate access behind the baby Hoots, which might be more accessible and slightly larger series. Because I'm aware that right now the cost of a single Hoot can be a little high, especially for someone just starting out.
Sure.
And so, yeah, just a Hoot. We take nothing else. We'll talk to you about it. You can give us feedback. We have a bunch of people in our Discord that are just clamoring to provide feedback and get their hands on it. It's that simple. A Hoot gives you access to Shufflement forever, and we think that's really cool.
I'm gonna try to find your an invite link and drop it in real quick.
Yeah. And okay, so just buy a Hoot. What is the floor of the cheapest Hoot possible right now? Because they want to do this. They can't afford a rare Hoot, obviously. What is the lowest?
I'll show you right now.
I think it's like 1.4, 1.5 ETH.
Yeah. So if you guys go on to OpenSea, you guys can see this, right? Okay. So for so here, let's start from the beginning. OpenSea.io. Okay. So point yourself over there. Now in the search item, you want to type in crypto Hoots, one word. Now there's a couple of them here. Now you heard Chris say they have 2,500 items.
Yep.
Right. So this is the one you want to click on, because this is some fake stuff.
It's not actually. Those two are both us. Just to be clear,
okay.
The Alpha Parliament we made as exclusive for one-on-ones and like custom Hoots that didn't conform to our common series. So you'll see like a Kong Hoot or an Alien Hoot for when we partnered with other projects.
I see.
But these are more expensive, so because there's much less. But just to clarify that, and we're waiting for OpenSea to verify us. You only need 100 ETH to be verified. I put in the request as soon as we hit 100. We're at 2,000 ETH in volume now, and they still have not done it. But
right, and verification means they get this blue check mark, right? Yeah. And so I that was something I actually brought up in the in your Discord. I'm like, why have you guys not been verified? But anyway,
yeah.
If you go here, it's Crypto Hoots Steampunk Parliament.
Yep.
This is the title of the NFT project, and you can see floor price here is 1.49. It actually went up. So somebody bought one during the stream because it was at 1.4. And if you scroll down and go to, you want to select buy now. Otherwise, you'll get all of the auctions. And now here we are, floor price 1.49. So if somebody buys this right now or whatever, the floor price now goes up to 1.5. Right?
Yeah, we're a very small collection with a very thin floor, as they call it, because normally we have around 10% for sale at any time. So it's very easy to go up or down based on a handful of sales.
Okay, so I'm on OpenSea. So here's my question. I'm going to walk through this, and maybe you guys can tell me. I see this crypto Hoot here.
Here, share your screen. Let's see. Yeah, okay.
Right? Okay, so it says 0.028. Is that the price, or is this the wrong crypto Hoot? Because this is a lot less than what you guys are saying.
That is not us. Oh, it could be, but no. Like you see, this is a scam crypto Hoot. I think
it's a scam Hoot.
Maybe,
See,
maybe.
And this is the problem, right? Because here I am. I'm on this live stream. I'm getting excited. Oh my gosh, it's only 0.028. I'm going to jump in, and then I'm going to call. Hey, can I get your animation program? No, sorry, buddy. You got scammed.
Yeah, when they go to verify
so what am I looking
wallet,
for? How do I know that it's not a scam?
I would 100% recommend going to our Twitter. That's CryptoHoots NFT, or coming to our Discord. Until we get verified, like this is going to be a problem. Please send me that link after this so that I can take it down.
This was the #1 link. Yeah. I typed in CryptoHoots on OpenSea, and I go, wow, it's 0.028. I better make this legit.
That's why you have to look for CryptoHoots what was it? A steampunk parliament.
Yep.
And then look at
And
you
it's
have
got
to look
dashes.
right, and you have to look for 2,500 items. That's
Yep.
that's the right way to do it. I mean, we can put links into the description of this
Yeah,
for
it's
the people
helpful.
watching on the replay.
Yeah.
For the official links that are, you know, in the Discord. Here is their Twitter. It's CryptoHoots NFT at CryptoHoots NFT. And they have all of their OpenSea link right here. Rarity tools, which is how you can, you know, you enter in the number of Hoot and they'll tell you how rare it is. And of course the invite to their
Now, what is
Discord.
Steampunk Parliament? CryptoHoots Steampunk Parliament. What does that mean?
A group of owls is known as a parliament. And so we kind of based it off of that. And it's been a little inside joke. And so everyone that owns a Hoot is part of our parliament. And then there's steampunk because they have those little monocles.
The goggles and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's, you know, that's where it comes from. But I will say that most people don't realize that a group of owls is called a parliament. So maybe it doesn't land so well.
I thought you were trying to do like some parliament funkadelic, because you know I'm like a DJ. I'm like parliament, like Georgia. You know, are they're gonna do something musically? Yeah, some funk music in the music chat there. So
this is scary because honestly, if you didn't tell me, I would have had no way of knowing that this was, first of all, fraudulent, because we're so used to. I don't want to say the internet's safe, but
safer.
It's
now.
safer, but you know, people are used to eBay. They're getting some protections from fakes. There are refunds. There's no refunds on this one, right? You get it. It's a fake, and like, hey, where'd he go? So
you gotta be careful.
Where is a safe place to buy or to get the best price safely? Obviously, it's not OpenSea, right?
But it's the main game in town. You just have to go to the right place, the right collection. One of the things that made me suspect that we were going to do quite well is when a scam project was up before we launched.
Oh, really?
So
is that a good sign?
Oh, no.
It seemed like I was both angry but a little excited because it seemed like there was demand. And so there was a bunch of Hoots up on OpenSea with a slightly different name. I think it was like CryptoHoots Official, which is so angering. And with like a bunch of our stock art that we had made prior to launch. But yes, this is why we need to be verified and why OpenSea really should get back to us, because like we've well surpassed what their requirements are, and it costs people money. Like it doesn't affect us that much, except for the fact that it affects the people that want a Hoot, that buy one, and now they have an unverified scam Hoot, and it just, you know, it upsets us.
So we shared the link, the Discord link. What are the steps to make sure that we're on the right marketplace, getting the right Hoot? We join the Discord. Do you have a list on Discord, or do we give you a link and then you verify it before we pay, and then we pay?
We have a list to the correct collection, and this advice carries over to any NFT that someone is interested in buying. Like, make sure you go to their official Twitter or Discord, even though Twitter is usually better because some Discords actually have people posting scam links. We do not. We're like a nice tight community. But I would say go to their Twitter and use the links that they provide. And any large project will have official links to their collection on their Twitter. And that is the safest way. Like, don't trust OpenSea search. It is awful. And just get the official link and then browse the collection. And if you're within that collection, anything you buy will be legitimate.
I just dropped all your official links into the chat here from Discord, Twitter, and OpenSea. So
right.
So yeah, we can add that to the description box after the stream. But man, I haven't even told you, Chris. Man, I got ripped off in a Discord server.
It happens.
And I was like, man, that was like an $800 mistake.
Yeah, there's bots that will send you links to say, join this Discord server. They're doing a giveaway, and you connect your wallet, and they take everything. That's happened to some of our members from different Discords.
Wow.
Like we dealt with the spam bots ourselves, but they're still coming every day from different. Like, I'll see it from different servers that I'm in, and like, do not ever connect your wallet to anything that direct messages you on Discord, ever.
Yeah, man. Just the amount of fake projects. Like I think for the normal or average person, there's so many landmines in not just NFT, but just crypto. Like, literally trying to just, can I buy some Ethereum? You know, like that
Yeah.
was like that took me a bit to figure out. I'm like, oh, how do I get the Shiba Inu coin? Like, how do I get this? I'm like, man, I just watch YouTube video after video. I'm like, dude, this is like 10 steps. No wonder nobody's doing this. You know, I mean, it's gotten a little bit easier over the past couple of months. But man, it's crazy out there.
We need to do better. And that's like one of the biggest challenges with decentralization is the fact that anyone can launch a token or an NFT. And like for good or bad, that means that it's very hard to corral everything. And it's very easy to get bad information or links. And that kind of sucks. Like I wish we could fix that. And I'm sure someone will that's smarter than me.
Yeah. And here we have RPL Grime here. He is the artist for CryptoHoots. He's in the chat. Hey, OpenSea, we are YouTube famous when the check mark happened. You know?
No, what does this all mean? So this is new lingo. What does check mark mean?
Oh, it's the check mark for OpenSea to make sure it's a verified project.
Like on Twitter, when you see it next to someone's name, we want that on our OpenSea because that makes it easier for someone to find the right project.
Right. So if we go to like rankings here, we can see. I think here we'll go to like Mechaverse. I think did they get?
They did immediately. Yes.
Oh, see, this is the check mark. You're very salty.
I am.
Have they even? Oh
revealed?
No, no reveal.
I have no comment on Mechaverse.
The biggest hype, the biggest hype I've seen for a while was that project, and a whole lot of people didn't get anything. So we have a question for you from AM McDonald. Can you tell us about the first NFT you ever received? Rainbow something?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that on this stream, but
okay.
I can. I'll just censor it a bit. Essentially, someone airdropped me a rainbow genitalia NFT.
Interesting.
I don't know.
You can say whatever you want to say on this stream.
Yeah, it was a really good looking rainbow penis, like very well drawn, and like from a well-known artist that someone spent half an ETH to buy and send me. And no one knows to this day who it was or why, but they were giving out tokens in the Discord for this Discord token. Yeah, so
great story.
Everyone got tokens, and I got a dick. And
an expensive dick.
Yeah.
Worth an Ethereum.
Damn. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Is half an ETH long enough?
Yes.
Where is this going?
Yeah, we have no idea. Just having fun and learning a lot about NFTs. It's a very exciting space, and I actually spent the most amount of money ever on an NFT, which is nothing compared to like a lot of these other people. Like I spent about no, the Hoots are still too expensive for me, so it was around $1,500, and I got it because I'm not a huge fan of the 8-bit what do you call it artwork, but they are coming out with the pinball game later in the month, and so who knows? I might make a few $100s. My strategy is like, okay, I will just wait a few months and then sell it for double if possible.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Now, you guys I was gonna say you're talking about the Ethereum, the money and everything. As a founder or the team, when you see this stuff goes up, a lot of people are saying, wow, those guys must be billionaires now. Do you directly benefit when the Hoots go up? Because a lot of people are saying, well, they get a percentage, blah, blah, blah. Tell us how you make the money yourselves off of these.
I would say as the development team, the majority of our earnings came from the initial mint at 0.03, which, while it was a good bit for 2 full-time engineers, and I quit my job after mint. Like, it's basically like a year of salary essentially to try and see this through. So it's not like we made some kind of retirement money from these Hoots. And really the only way we drive more value is by building out the ecosystem and like essentially creating more with it. Because yes, we do get a royalty, but ours is 1.5%, which is actually very low compared to a lot of what the industry does. Once again, going back to that level of fairness that we really like. And so, yes, as the Hoots are more valuable, that means our percentage is more. But by far, our initial mint is what's going to be funding the rest of the project. And we have to provide value and interest to all the people that want Hoots so that we can kind of further our goals of like what Hoots are. And that's the only way that we're going to keep being able to like do this and, you know, make money for the development side. It's not a sit back and coast from here type of job for us.
Right. It's like more work.
It's a ton of work. Yeah.
It's like more work. It's almost like the people that purchased at Mint. It's almost like if you guys were a company with an idea and all these people that minted are your VCs, right? Right. They're your venture capitalists that are coming in to you know support your project. That's what
we definitely don't want to go into like investing and like what the people that purchase them are, but like yeah, it's like a Kickstarter kind of.
Yeah. And, there you go, Kickstarter. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the people that bought it early and then sell them like any other flip, if it's shoes or posters or whatever, profit a lot more than the company. And like we're not Nike, but like, you know, whatever Nike makes when they sell an expensive shoe versus what a flipper does, the flipper makes a lot more per unit than Nike. And I think that model is, you know, pretty good, except for we don't have like the financial backing of a huge company.
Speaking of fairness, so Ethereum is expensive, just the gas fees and all that stuff. Do you plan to stay on Ethereum, or for the sake of access and maybe fairness and access, get on a different blockchain, or for safety, stay on Ethereum? What are your thoughts on the whole Ethereum going up in price, making everything expensive?
Yeah, gas is awful on Ethereum right now, and that's, you know, a fact. And it's something that I hate dealing with. And I know that especially when you have an NFT that's 0.03 ETH, like gas can easily equal that on a drop or far surpass it. But we do love Ethereum. Our whole team is very focused on the Ethereum ecosystem. But we're hoping that layer 2 solutions like Arbitrum will really take a lot of the load off of layer 1 Ethereum. And once we have some way to actually have NFTs on like a layer 2, like if OpenSea moves there, or easily move between you know, the main chain of Ethereum and another layer 2 chain, I think that will solve a lot of the problems. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but I think that'll be an issue that will be solved, you know, in months and not years.
Right. And your future as developers, your financial future, do you see money for yourselves in partnering with promising projects? Because again, the more of these getting at the ground floor, getting that money in, you're constantly looking for that next project. Are these partnerships that you set up, the animation, the software, is that where your sustainable revenue is going to be coming from?
Very possibly. That's definitely one avenue that we're looking at for revenue in the near term, being that our current revenue isn't anything great. And if we can find the right projects that want the support and deal with them directly on the development side, I think that is or could be a good revenue stream to allow us to keep supporting Hoots and Shufflement. I think that would be awesome.
So here's the $1 billion question. You said the right project. What are you looking for? What is the right project to you? Because I know people watching this later or now, they're thinking, NFT is the future. I don't have a job. I want to get that right project off the ground. What do I need to do before I call Chris?
I mean, I would say the first thing you need to know is it's a ton of work. Even if you're in like a supported platform by a team that's already done a lot of the back end stuff. So you have to be committed to kind of realizing this idea. I think the hardest part is like marketing and making sure that you're getting the message out about what your product is or your project and how it's different. Art is actually really important too. So I think that you have to have good art and you have to know exactly how to make it, which we can help with. So I would say the right project to partner with be someone that ideally might have had some experience in the NFT space, but not with generative projects. So they might have been doing, you know, individual pieces and they want to do something that's a little bit broader. Like that would be really good. Or someone that can put in the time. But I would say anyone that's watching that has an idea that might want to reach out to us, like please come by our Discord. I'll talk to you. And even if you're not someone that we can partner with because we only have a couple slots, we're still trying to figure out how to fit it all in. Like Shufflement will be accessible to you if you have a Hoot, and hopefully eventually even if you have a baby Hoot in a few months. So like I would like to get it in as many people's hands as possible.
Right.
I am definitely popping back into that server to make sure I do not miss on the baby Hoots.
Me, you both, man. Yeah. What about the boring stuff? Contracts between the artist, the group, the licensing, because I have some artists who are not programmers, but they want to participate, but they want to be protected. They create
Right.
this art, they run off with the art,
Right.
everyone makes millions, and they're stuck with nothing. But I
Right.
made the art. Like, so do you help protect the artist? What do artists need to do? Do they need to download a contract? How do you approach this for your stack?
Right. I would say that the good thing about the blockchain is that you can actually accomplish these kinds of things in a trustless way. Like, I don't know the real names of the other two people I work with on this project. We don't know each other's names. Well, I know one of them's first name, but we didn't know each other before. But we can design essentially our wallet and our contract in a way so that you can need 2 out of 3 people to withdraw anything, so that no single party could withdraw all the funds.
Sure.
Or if we can go a step further with like an artist, and you can set it up so that when something is minted, the funds from each individual mint go to a contract that splits them in a automatic way based on what percentage. Like, let's say the artist gets 50% and the dev team gets 50%. Before it even gets to a dev wallet and having to ask for that money, it can be split at the time that someone purchases an NFT from the contract, and it just hits the artist wallet as soon as someone buys one. And that is a great way to do it, because you don't have to be worried that these people might run away with my art.
Right.
Of course, there's still possibilities, right? Like, you could somehow take the art and not use the contract. Like, there's still a level of trust involved. But once you get it to the point where, like, this is a launch site, the NFT contracts are deployed, you can set it up so that no one has to worry about getting ripped off or, yeah.
Cool.
That's good. That's good. At least there's some sort of protection and a few different ways about it, right?
Yep. I'm always, if we can hard code the protection, that's the best. Like, if there's a way to make sure that no matter what, no one can change who's getting paid and how much they are, like, that is the best case scenario, and that's what smart contracts allow.
Okay.
I had a question. We talked about utility being one, use, and then, just the time it takes to create and, the quality of the art as reasons why NFTs will be popular going forward. But what do you say to people that may say that anyone can make 100,000 NFTs, or, there could be systems and companies that just make so much art that it starts to pollute the entire market?
I mean,
that's a good point. Yeah,
it's a good point. I mean, I would say that there's always been people making art in large quantities throughout history, and some of that art is valued today, and a lot of it is forgotten. Yeah, digitally, it's easier to pump out massive amounts, but at the end of the day, I think the quality will float to the surface, and I don't know what that'll be. Like, I don't know if there'll be a Hoot in the Louvre in 100 years, but I think that there will be a way to identify the good art, and I think that overall, like, people know what good art is, even if we don't always like it. You can look at something and know that this is something special, and I think that'll always be the case.
I think what you hinted on there is very important, because a lot of the projects I see, like, and even some other people on YouTube that I've been watching about NFTs, they say, look, I got to get my ego out of this. Like, I don't like the way this looks, but I know there's something there. Right. Because it's not, because, like, I was looking at some really cool, crazy, like, mushroom thing that was like a video, and I'm like, it's like walking, and it has this thing on top of its, like, mushroom head. I was like, whoa, that looks awesome. Well, what is it going to do? Is it going to be special enough to actually, sustain itself and the roadmap that they have set forth? So it's really hard to with, like, what is it? Is it Crypto Kongs or something like that? Just a
Cyber
Kongs. My bad.
Great project and a great community right there.
Right. And, like, the art it's an 8-bit gorilla dude, right? That's it. And, like, people are like, wow, this is selling for this much. Is this really art? And it's something, as if you're looking to either flip or get into something NFT wise, you kind of have to, I think the art is almost secondary, to the community and the roadmap. Is that what you would say?
I would say so, yeah. I would say that the community is very much the most important. The roadmap, as long as it's stuck to, like anyone can write a roadmap, and it might not be realistic. And then the art is something that maybe speaks to you personally, and maybe you don't like it that much, but maybe you find a piece that you do. And that's why I don't tend to buy NFTs on Rarity that often. I usually find the one I like that looks nice. But I mean, ideally, all three connect. Right, and I was really worried that Hoots wouldn't land and that people wouldn't like the art, but that really wasn't the case. And so if you can find a project that does all three, I think that's a keeper, because at worst case, you end up with a piece of art you love. And at best case, it's something that does really cool stuff.
You said that you were afraid that the CryptoHoots project wouldn't take off. What is that one or two thing that did get it to take off? Because as Brandon was saying, you're going to see more and more junk out there, just because this is a gold rush and not everything is gold. But when you got into it, launching this, in the beginning, you're afraid it doesn't take off. But what did you do, or what did you see where it flipped the switch from, ooh, I'm going to be broke, to, yes, it's happening?
I would say that I was unaware that it was happening until after we sold out. I think that we focused, I really focused on like being very available in our Discord, and it was way smaller than any other of these large projects. Like we might have had 1,000 or 2,000 people on launch day, which is small compared to ones that you see with like 10.
Very small.
And so, but like we didn't do any of those invite contests that spam you or anything like that. And so
I hate those things.
The Raid Shadow Legend version of NFT.
Yeah, like I have my laptop over here. Like can look on this left side here. Like this is all invites, all at the top here, just all invites for nonsense, and I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that. I'll jump into, hey, how do I into a Discord for a project? Hey, how do I get on the whitelist? They're like, oh, we have an invite, blah blah blah. Nope.
Yeah,
I'm not spamming anybody else. Like I hate it. Like why would I want to do that to someone else?
So that's how you end up with 10,000 members in like 2 or 3 days. And to me, it's spam and it's annoying and people don't care, most likely.
Right.
And so we decided we'd rather 1,000 people that actually cared about Hoots to stick around and hope that, word of mouth kind of spread, and hope that essentially our authenticity on the project people would like. But we were unsure. We were unsure the whole way through. And we were still unsure after we sold out if people would keep having interest. Because it was a small collection, maybe people just wanted it and would move on. And that wasn't the case. And like within a few days of our sellout, more and more people from other teams like the Kongs and Anonymous, they got interested in the look of our project and the look of our team, and kind of made their presence known. And it felt like larger people that knew a lot more about the NFT industry than myself decided that, hey, you guys actually know what you're doing and you're adults, and we're gonna see what you do and give you the opportunity. And that was nice. But at the same time, like I have no secret sauce on how that happened, other than being authentic and like trying to stick to your principles, which we all did.
Now, you mentioned that you had a small collection. What is considered small in the NFT world? And is it because you had a small collection maybe that it attracted attention?
I do. I think that that's one of the big reasons. Yeah. And small, 2,500 is very small. Like 5,000 is medium, and 10,000 is like a large
like
or almost
average.
standard. Yeah.
Right.
Like that was the standard for a long time. I think that'll be shifting. It seems to already be shifting for a lot of the more niche projects like ours, where we don't have like 50 people on the team. There's just 3 of us.
Right. I've seen a few that are like 88888, 7777, 5555, like
lucky numbers, right? A series of lucky numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I actually jumped into, or I got an invite for some project, and I jumped into their Discord. I was like, hey guys, da 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 da. Like a week later, I go back in there, and apparently I was one of the first 100. So they're doing like a mint of just 100 for the first 100. So I'm excited. I'm like, whoa, like literally getting in on the ground floor, and then they'll have like a 10,000 generative.
It's nice
situation. But like, I was just like, oh, I'm not going to do the same thing that I did with CryptoHoots. I'm going to check in every day. Yo, when's this happening? When is this happening? It's going to be so annoying that they're going to be like, yo, Chana, shut up. Like, it's happening. So I actually got a timeline. So like end of November, which is good for me. So I can save up, start stacking up my Ethereum, a couple hundred this week, a couple hundred next week.
You got it. I have a good feeling about this for you.
Yeah, and of course, I'll be checking in with you guys to see what's happening with Baby Hoots because yeah, man, this FOMO is killing me. And half the time, that like what Brandon was saying, like there's so many in the last. So, I kind of started this whole thing mid August. We're almost into mid October, and man, the amount of new projects out there that it look like absolute trash it's just flooding my inbox on Discord. So it's crazy.
It's easy to crank out a bad or low effort project, essentially.
And I've heard about people like actually doing the mint and then like they just run off with the money because these are just random people on the internet that you're giving your money to.
Okay,
right?
There we go with that.
like what the fuck, man? Oh,
how do you verify? Okay, so this is something that I didn't even think about. Is you have this project and it's got a roadmap, it's got a powerful Discord community, but like you said, Chris, you didn't even know who your co-founders were, or maybe some of them. No one's got a name, and it's possible this team is promising or not. But how do you? I mean, is there a guaranteed way to know that this is going to happen? It's going to launch at all, or even at the very end? Even now, we still will never know.
You won't know. Like the launch could go horribly unintentionally, and they decide to leave, or they could launch successfully and decide it's not worth the work because like it's a ton more work now for CryptoHoots than it was prior to launch.
Why is that? Can you tell us what?
I would say that we were focused on one thing at launch or leading up to launch, which was launching. And now we are focused on, we have a lot of community members who have a lot of good ideas and there's just a lot of things to settle. And so some people might not want that work if they got, if they did a 10,000 mint at 0.08, it's 800 Ether. Right? Yeah, like they might not have the desire to actually deliver on what they say. So I think mint price and size is a good way. Like making sure that it looks like the developers are in line with your requirements. Like if they eat when you eat, that is a good sign. If they could just disappear after mint with $2 million, like you should at least be suspect that they might, right? Because they might decide that they don't even if they had good intentions, they might decide that they don't want to do this anymore. But there's no easy way. I think one thing you can do is wait for the mint and wait for it to go on OpenSea and make sure you go to the right one and see if it looks good and see if they're sticking around. Like you might not get the lowest price, but at least you'd see if the project minted correctly.
Right. I mean, except for really hyped up projects like Mechaverse, like 5 Ethereum floor, and it hasn't even revealed, and their mint was crazy. I mean, they have over 100,000 people in their Discord.
Yeah,
which is like a huge amount of people. Damn, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. Yeah, if you do miss the mint, all you have to do is go to, wait a day, maybe 2 days after mint, and go to the official links in the Discord of whichever project it is, Hoots, whomever. Then you'll have the right link at OpenSea, buy something on the floor, and then check back in a month or two, see what happens. That's probably my best advice. That actually happened to me with those goats. I was just like, okay, I need practice. Like, what is this? What does buying something on OpenSea look like? And I found the goats project. Found one for 0.05 floor. It had just minted like the week before. I was like, okay, whatever. Bought this, and then I actually sold it a few days ago because I didn't even pay attention to it. I just went back to the project. I'm like, oh, the floor is 0.1. Oh, I can double my money. Set it up there. 24 hours later, somebody bought it. I'm like, okay, great. I did my first successful flip. Didn't even have the intention of doing it. I literally just wanted to buy it just to see how the buying mechanics worked on OpenSea. And yeah, sometimes it'll cost you some money, but I would say I know I have another friend on a different YouTube channel. His name is Mike. And he always recommends to have an enter and exit strategy. So for those of you that want to get into NFTs, and again, this is not financial advice, this is purely for entertainment purposes, make sure you have a plan. You're like, okay, I'm going to buy this NFT at 0.5. Okay, great. What are you going to do with it? Just have a plan. Okay, it gets to 1 Ethereum, sell it, or whatever. Have an entry strategy, have an exit strategy, so that you're not just like, oh man, I held on to it and it was at like 5 Ethereum, and then like 2 months later it went down to like negative. I don't even
negative. You owe them money now.
I don't even know if that's possible. I'm just saying have an entry and exit strategy, especially if you're new to this whole NFT game,
or just collect.
Yeah, yep. Or just collect. Like me. That's all I got like 20, 30 of them. I don't know what to do with these things.
Well, your brother, you're saying just collect. Some poor sap is other collecting fake crypto hoots, and he doesn't even know it. That's why I'm like,
hopefully
maybe collections that might be completely worthless, right?
Maybe the fake one down the road will be worth a lot too. Who knows?
Yeah, I will have them taken off of OpenSea after this. They're actually pretty responsive about that.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, they're a bit better about that. But yeah, there's a lot of fake art in the world. At least with the blockchain, you can verify that it's in the collection if you actually find the right collection.
Right. Now, what is your personal NFT collection like? Or do you even buy NFT yourself, Chris?
Great
or
question.
Is it only
other than
the got a rainbow penis? Yeah.
Yes, I do have that. That was given to me. I have a lot of Hoots.
Obviously.
I have like a luchador, which is like an on-chain little guy that you can fight with.
Oh.
I have a few other pieces, but I don't have like a whole ton of NFTs because it's a struggle to find ones that really connect with me, which is one of the reasons we made Hoots. Like all of these things you described on like how it feels to try and find a good project with good art are like some of the reasons why we decided to make one, because it's like a minefield out there, and finding something that you like is difficult. And so now what I like is Hoots, and I have like a lot of Hoots. I have a lot of the floor Hoots that I bought on OpenSea, like everyone else.
So are your co-founders afraid that you just sell everything and then disappear to Mexico? I mean, it's legitimate, right?
I don't have that many Hoots. There's definitely collectors in our Discord that have many more Hoots than me. But no, I don't think. One of the things that's extremely fortunate for us is that even though we didn't know each other that well prior to this project, we all worked extremely well together, and every single person on the team did a ton of work. And like we had multiple meetings a week, like over voice, and we set timelines. We had like a kind of like project tracking. Like for 3 strangers to be able to do this in 3 months is very unique. And I think that's just somewhat luck. I think it was very lucky.
So it took you 3 months to get together, think of an idea, develop it, and then launch it. Any project that only takes 3 months, I have to say that's impressive. I mean, you've been in the startup world, you're a programmer. 3 months.
Yeah, it was really good.
That's insane.
It was a lot of work because I still had my job at that time. Our main dev did not. He was full time on this. But yeah, it was like we moved quickly. We were very lean, and the pixel art style helped with that. But it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for 3 months. And now we realize that this is really, we have so much more work to do. It's not like
that was just the tip of the iceberg.
It was.
Oh man.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's got to be exciting. I mean, this is like, breaking new frontier. A lot of people I feel like I'm late to the party, but we are still very, very early.
We felt late the whole time. For the whole development cycle, we're like, we're going to miss it. No one's going to want NFTs by the time we're done. Like we had to should we do it faster or should we do it right? And we stuck to doing it right. But that fear is very common,
Okay, so for some context, you thought you were late to the party. How early is this party? Because I know I'm late to the party, but if you had to say being early to the party is when, what month or year are we talking about?
I would say this party is just getting started overall. But what I felt was early was like, let's say March of this year.
It's this year.
Yes. I mean,
That's
NFTs
crazy.
existed, but like what happened earlier this year was really the blooming of the cycle that we're seeing now. But really, this party's just getting going, and maybe they were just setting up earlier this year. And like now, a few guests are starting to arrive. But once we push into 3D space, and like once we actually connect NFTs to identity in a way that is maybe both cultural and actually like access related.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know where this is going to go. I just know we want to be there.
Right.
Okay. Now, I don't know how long we have Chris for, Techno Dad. How long do we have you for? Because this is such an interesting interview, and I know we have a lot of questions, but we want to respect your time because you're out there making more hoots. So how many more minutes we got?
I have a bit more time. What do you guys, however you guys want.
Okay, because my next question is this, which is a lot of people out there of all ages and skills, they want to get into NFT, not as quote unquote a collector or a non-investor, but to be part of the building process. And there is no consulting group out there. I mean, if you want to build a website, you got, was it the Squarespace
or whatever,
Wix, right? Or you got a web developer who's like a 18-year-old, right? In this NFT space, there's no one or no service. And like, I know you're looking to do something like that with your utility crypto, but that's, it's quite small. A buy-in.
Yeah.
Where do you see these advisors or consultants? I mean, where do we go to start one? Because none of us are engineers.
It's tough, right? So I would say there's a great site called Crypto Zombies. I can send you the link. That is essentially a way of learning Solidity, which is like the programming language of Ethereum. And it's a relatively simple language. I think it reads well and the documentation is good. And what a site like that does is it actually walks you through learning Solidity while you make your own little NFT project. Yeah, this is one of the best places a new creator can go to get a feel for how Solidity works and how NFTs work. I would say that the NFTs weren't the intention of this. It was just a good way to visualize it. But in this space now, it's really fitting. And I think almost anyone can go through all of these lessons and get a feel for how Solidity works and how NFTs can work. From there, if you're slightly more advanced, I would say that the OpenSea documentation is actually really solid. It's dense to read, but if you have a programming background, it walks you through like creating a smart contract that automatically creates a store. And that's, that's somewhere to learn. YouTube, I know a bunch of people that have learned from YouTube. This is kind of inspiring. What I think I'll do too on our Discord is consolidate a bunch of learning resources that we think are pretty good for people that will be hopefully joining for Shuffle Mint or for anyone that watches. Because there's a handful that I think are like give you a really good leg up. And there's, I'm sure, a bunch of junk, just like everything on the internet. But it is very attainable for someone that's just starting out to learn enough Solidity to launch an NFT project. I would say, at least for me personally, as a non-artist, the art is harder.
Right.
Like, I think anyone can code, and I think learning art is a little bit more difficult.
Being an artist is way more
harder,
difficult. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I've been in the Discord here, and they're all saying LFO is doing a great job. So
I haven't been watching. I don't want to see what they're saying.
It's over. It's over here. They're saying I just hope LFO or RPL drops the teaser. I don't know if that is this one, but I dropped it already.
The Baby Hoot sneak peek. All right.
Yeah, so just look for that.
Sorry, I was trying to click on it and I actually moved. You took it off. I'm on the stream and I'm not on the actual comments.
Yeah. So look in the comments. I dropped it in there.
Baby art. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so they can see the sneak peek. Actually,
we have a lot cooking for our Baby Hoots, especially with how ideally our genetics will play out and how like two distinct owls can combine into an interesting new baby. Like what happens if one of the skeleton owls all of a sudden breeds with a regular owl, and like what would that baby look like? We have ideas. We don't have concept art yet, but we need to make it look kind of unique and good.
There it is. There's a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
Has someone ever done a project like this where they combine
Yeah.
NFTs?
Yeah, there's definitely been.
You're just curious.
There's definitely been projects like this. I think one of the first ones and one of the first NFTs was Crypto Kitties, and they had direct breeding. But their breeding mechanic, I think, was a little bit too direct, and it ended up really screwing over like the overall value of the project. And so one of our aims is like, yes, we're going to have some form of inheritance, but there has to be that RNG, the randomization that ensures that if you have two basic Hoots, like you still have hope that your baby is going to come out like really cool, because I think that's important.
Man, I hope my regular baby comes out really cool.
Are you gonna?
He's got to come out with sunglasses and a goatee. You know.
Is it going to be like some of the countries that only allow you to have like one child? So is there going to be like limitations, of course?
No, there will be like some kind of time lock, and it's going to be gated behind the tokens that they earn. But I don't think we're going to do any kind of like a Hoot can only breed X amount of times. And I think one of the reasons, even though I like somewhat that's cool, one of the things that we have to be aware of with our mechanics is that, let's say you have a Hoot that you bred that number of times, and then you list it on OpenSea. How does the buyer necessarily know that that Hoot can't have babies? And like that kind of ensuring that whatever dynamics we have in place don't potentially harm future buyers is something we're always aware of. There's a lot you have to think through.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I was like,
just
whoa,
blew my mind,
really?
So.
You just you were thinking about that? Damn. Okay.
It's good to see you are passionate and you do come off as genuine. So that's good for your community.
Thank you.
So you're protecting future buyers, but also the OG owners as well, right? That balance.
Right. It has to be a balance, and you have to make sure that what you do is and pleasing to everyone. And that's actually one of the things we introduced is called the DAO. And so you hear the word DAO thrown around a lot in crypto circles. And we are not a true DAO, but what it allows people to do is we can put up a proposal, and for every Hoot that they have in their wallet, they get one vote. And we can say something like, should a Hoot only be able to be bred 3 times? And everyone with a Hoot can vote on this, and we can see what the community feels about this proposal. And so we've been leveraging this already from our first week of launch as a way to actually bring community governance into our development cycle. And some things like will still be up to us. Like if someone, because anyone can put up a proposal with one Hoot.
Sure.
But if, and so if they said like, should the developers give us all their money, like, and they all voted yes, like we're not going to do that. But overall, like we were trying to treat it as binding as possible with actual procedures in place for fully binding votes. So I don't know, like we're really trying to do some interesting like stuff.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
I am too. And if people want to reach out to you, your team, find out more about the community, is Discord the best place to find you guys?
100%. I'm on there 18 hours a day, fielding questions, looking for owls. I'm right there.
It's like meet your wife on the Discord server.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I'm already married, but yeah. But to the point where there's community members that are telling me to sleep.
Okay. Yeah. So, so I just dropped in the CryptoHoots Discord link again, and Dr. Doofus did say that there's only 2,499 Hoots
after the burning.
Yeah. What happened to number 1641?
Poor 1641.
Somebody asked if he's going to be reborn.
He will be. So 1641, a user sent a fairly rare crypto Hoot to a staking contract for Anonymice. And Anonymice has a mechanic that lets people stake their mice to earn cheese, similar to, and spend it on babies or whatnot. They have mice too, and they had a Hoot, and they got a little confused and sent a Hoot to the mice contract, and it's unrecoverable. It's dead.
Oh, wait. This is crazy. Okay, so unintentionally, and this is not fraud. He's just didn't know what they were doing.
We verified it pretty well. He was a nice guy. He threw away around $10,000 by doing that. And his address and then
did PETA get called?
No. But what we've been doing is, we set out a search party. We involved the mice. We've been memeing this pretty hard on Twitter.
On Twitter.
And I will like to report that although we confirm that he is deceased, we have found the remains, and we will be reuniting the remains with the owner very soon and posting about it on Twitter. So while they might not get their original Hoot back, they are getting a Hoot back that I think will at least be interesting and unique.
So this is customer service, right? So this is what you're talking about. You need a strong community so that when bad things happen, you're there to walk them through the nightmare of losing a Hoot.
Right. And I mean, this was a very unique situation. I would say that if someone, say, sent the Hoot to what they claim is the wrong address and asks us for a random Hoot, like, we're not going to do that. But because, like, we knew the person already and we can clearly see that it's in a contract that it can never be recovered from, and just on pure meme potential, like, it was well worth us doing this. But we put it to a vote. And we put it to a vote, and it was a little contentious, to be honest, about minting an alpha Hoot for this replacement, but it passed. And
what is an alpha Hoot? I'm learning the lingo.
We did a side collection for all of our like unique one-of-one pieces and collaborative pieces that didn't meet the guidelines for our main collection, and also because we didn't want to mint anything out of our main collection ahead of time. And so we have these alphas that some people think are better, some people think are worse. We think they're the same. There's very interesting ones there, like Alien Hoot or Snoop Hoot, which is like a Snoop Dogg Hoot that we're very proud of. And so this one will be an alpha because we can't make any changes to the main collection. There's only 2,500. One is gone, so now there's 2,499. That will never change.
Interesting.
Here, I'm putting the alpha Hoot on screen here.
Some are just standard for like giveaways, but if you keep going, you'll see like the Fizz Hoot, the Kong Hoot, the Alien Hoot, Penguin.
Oh, look, Vader Hoot.
Yeah.
Vader Hoot, Darth Hoot.
Darth Hoot.
Darth Hoot.
So you can see why these wouldn't fit in our regular collection.
Right. Sure.
And so.
But the floor price is through the roof on these things.
The volume is very low too.
That's not why?
Yeah, like yes, the floor price is high.
Snoop Hoot.
Yeah, there's Snoop Hoot. We're very proud of Snoop Hoot.
They're all the smoke. Love it.
Yeah, I would say that people value that it's a more limited series and some of the artwork is unique, but it's hard to get an accurate floor because so few have sold.
Oh, gotcha.
So I would never say that these are like better or like a different. I think the name was a poor choice, Alpha Hoot. Maybe we should have named it something.
Yeah, because the word alpha just makes it better, right?
But it's more, they are side Hoots or additional Hoots.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you call it Sucky Hoot, and then for sure the floor will be lower.
Sucky Hoot. So it looks like Snoop saw the Snoop Hoot. Is that
supposedly?
Is that right?
Yes, Cosmo or whatever. If that is Snoop, there's a lot of debate about that. But yes, he said it looked good.
Wow.
But he didn't want it yet. Maybe someday.
Well, that's great. That is great. Oh man. All right, time is flying. I know Brandon's got to leave soon, and I'm sure my wife is upstairs fuming because I said it would only be an hour.
I can't believe it, Chris.
But you got to tell her.
Too informative.
You're investing your time into the future, right? This is not investment advice, but this is about the ground floor.
I told her about crypto hoots and my $20,000 mistake, and she's like, "You got to stop thinking about that." She's like, "You got to move on. You got to move on. She's like, "Can you go to the market?" I'm like, "Yes, I can." And it's snowing out here, so like it's an actual pain in the ass to get to the market.
Don't they have deliveries up there?
No deliveries, bro. Yeah, no.
That's all right. I don't get anything delivered. Was curious.
Yeah,
I don't have to deal with snow though. Chris, do you have to deal with snow where you live?
I'm in Boston, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
But it's not snowing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a Boston fan? Are you a sports fan or no?
Not really. Like the Red Sox are fun to go to, and I live close enough to drop by, but I wouldn't call myself a huge fan of any of the sports, which is a shame because it's such a huge sports town.
Oh, it is.
It's got
number
great
one
teams.
sports city.
Yeah. I'm not taking full advantage of it, but right now I'm just heads down on Hoots.
Yeah, you're busy. Yeah, of course. I'm becoming a fan of the Hoots, man. I'm going to say I'll probably join the Discord.
I got to sell a couple of cars to buy a Hoot now.
I just want to find out if Snoop.
You have a couple of cars to sell,
and I'll have our TVs, right? Gonna sell a couple of TVs.
Sell some TVs. Yeah.
Chris, you looking for a TV? We could trade. We got a lot of TVs between all of us.
I bet. But no, please come by our Discord, Hoot or no Hoot. I'm always around. And I like talking, as you guys might suspect.
You're good. It's good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Great guest. I'm glad to
Yeah,
have you
no,
on. We're lucky to have you on.
You're
This
our
is a new
first
channel for
guest.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, first guest, first live stream. I'm so happy that you're on.
I want to set the bar high,
Yeah,
It's
you
too
have.
high.
but thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm always down to talk about NFTs or crypto or Hoots in general. So just
I'm
let
sure
me
we'll.
know.
I'm sure we'll have you back. Yeah.
I would love it.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. And is looking for owls your handle on
It is.
Discord?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that will be me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been a pleasure.
It's been
Cool,
awesome,
man.
man. I think we learned a lot, and it was
Oh,
great to
yeah.
have you on, man. And for those of you watching, make sure to subscribe up to this brand new channel that we all started. FOMO's got his own channel about TVs. I got my own channel about TVs and audio. Brandon's got his own channel about installing TVs. We got huge YouTube channels, and we know how to do this YouTube thing, as you can tell. If you enjoyed this interview, make sure you subscribe up, because we're going to have more interviews and more NFT content coming your way. Now, Chris, do not press that button that says leave studio. Okay, we're going to end the
yeah.
broadcast. We're going to talk to you for a little bit backstage, but for everybody here and everybody watching on the replay, thank you so much. My name is Chana, on behalf of Q and Brandon and our new friend Chris. See you guys later.
See ya.
See you later.